What if I told you I'm going to give you one concept of Musar, that this one concept can solve all your life problems? That would be pretty nice, wouldn't it? The Tzaddikim tells us that the problems of life, 99% of those problems can be solved with just one trait, the trait of humility. If somebody has any issue in life, any issue, if the person was more humble, he would be able to deal with the problem in a way that he wouldn't have such a big problem. The Tzaddikim says, how does a person know if he's humble? The Tzaddikim tells us that the first thing about the humble barometer is to know if a person gets insulted, if he gets embarrassed, if somebody angers you, and you don't get insulted, you don't get angry, you don't get embarrassed. That's the first thing to see how humble you are. Second thing to see how humble you are, if something looks like it's bad in life that comes your way and you are able to accept it, that means that you're humble. Number 3 sign of humility is that if somebody sings your praise or somebody says that your deficiencies, your weaknesses, and you don't take it personal. The fact that you sing my praises doesn't mean that it was me, it was Hashem. And the fact that I have weaknesses, that's the way Hashem made me. If you have this concept, that's also on the humble credit score that you have. And number 4 on the credit score of humility is, of the humble barometer, is when you become successful, powerful, respected, wealthy, how do you treat people? The way you treat people shows us how humble you are. Number 5 on the barometer of humble humility is, if let's say you hurt somebody's feelings or you hurt somebody physically, do you go and you ask that person for forgiveness, even though you don't have to because you're stronger than the person, you don't need that person? Do you still go and ask for forgiveness? That's number 5 question on humble barometer, if this person's humble or not. And number 6 on the humble barometer is, how do you speak? How do you dress? You speak softly. You dress respectfully, but not flashy. You live in a house that fits your needs, but is not showy. You make weddings that are not to be able to impress anybody. That's a sign of humbleness. So we have 6 signs from the Orchot Tzaddikim that tell us if a person is humble and how much. Now think about all life's problems. They fall under these categories of these 6 things. And if a person was able to have humility, these things that he might go through in life wouldn't be such a big issue. We learned in Rashi that talks about how Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble of men. Rashi says that he was most patient. A sign that you are humble is the fact how patient you are. Patience means that you can listen to your wife, talk and talk and talk. She's on the phone and you're trying to get her attention. You know, they used to say the olden days, the older mashgichim would say that when your wife's in the middle of talking on the phone, and you try to interrupt her, it's almost as severe as interrupting somebody who's in the middle of nakdishach, in the middle of kiddusha. That's what they don't understand. Like, what did you want from me? I'm in the middle of the phone call. So patience in traffic, it shows that you realize that Hashem is running your world, not you. And that you don't have control. If you're a person who's patient, means that you are recognizing that you're in the back seat of your life and not running your own circumstances. This is the idea about humility. And in this week's parasha, it talks about how the people who are the most humble are the ones who are closest to God. The pasuk says, Hashem is always close to those who are humble. Ve'et deka. Hashem is with the shafar ruach. He's with the ones who are low-spirited. And when we are haughty, Hashem runs away. To'avat Hashem kol gvalev. When there's a person who has haughtiness, Hashem runs away from that person. That's the reason why when somebody comes to the kotel, he feels a special feeling that he doesn't know how to explain that feeling. It's just a bunch of stones. But why is this person so feeling something special at the kotel? And the explanation is because when a person's at the kotel, you know what happens? He has his haughtiness with him. Usually Hashem runs away from wherever he goes. But when he's at the kotel, Hashem says, I'm never leaving the kotel. Now this person came with his haughtiness, and Hashem says, I'm not running away. So Hashem takes away this person's haughtiness while he's at the kotel. My soul will be like dust to everything. Those letters, the first letters of the words, spell out the word kotel. And this week's parasha is the parasha that tells us that sometimes a person is successful. He makes a lot of money. He makes right choices. He's respected. He's honored. And then he forgets Hashem. The biggest sins happened in the Jewish people after a meal. After a person feels he made money. When they did the egel, it was because it had a lot of gold. When a person has success, when a person has abundance, that's when he sometimes forgets God. He doesn't realize that I'm not really in control. And when he could say that I'm not really in control, then he could get the concepts of humility. And again, once you're more humble, all your life's problems will be solved.